Didn't think I was going to be making one of these, did you? Well, here I am. And instead of doing a shelf by shelf video of my entire collection, I think I'm just going to do it by parts, just because I have too many games and I'm going to be talking too much about them. It's just going to take too much time. So I'm just going to do it by parts, and based on what you see from the intro, I'll start off with my PS1 and PSP game. And I guess first the PS1. Just before I begin, I just want to say that the PS1 is definitely the system that got me into gaming for sure. It's not what I started off in. I started off playing on the original NES, but the PS1 is really what turned me into a huge gamer. So to begin, I'm just going to start off by chronological order. First with, I guess not chronological order, I'm going to start off with an oddity, being Let the Games Begin, the PlayStation Underground Demo Disc version 1.4. Yeah, definitely an oddity. I got this in a Game Pro magazine, which is pretty cool. I've never seen this before. I can't find it online. It's got Alone in the Dark, Pneuma Nightmare, Disney's Aladdin, In the Zero's Revenge, Driver 2, Barbie Explorer, Cool Borders 2001, and Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. And I played a shit ton of this demo disc in every single one of those games, including Barbie. It was back in the day when I would take advantage of the games, the few games that I had. Next up is Beyblade, based off of the pretty awesome anime from when I was a kid. I never played this game. This was given to me by a friend. I am looking forward to playing it though. Next up we have, I had them in order but not anymore. Blasto, another game I used to play as a kid. Never owned it though. Borrowed it from a friend, and I quite enjoy this game. Although playing it now, it kind of sucks. The controls are really bad. And what's cool about it is the main character Blasto is played by a comedian. Can't remember his name. Next up we have Bomberman Party Edition. I bought this game because I thought it was going to be like a Mario Party kind of game. I'm not sure if it is. I haven't gotten a chance to play it yet. I am looking forward to it though. You'll be seeing a lot of these price tags on my games. I used to take them off, but now I like to keep them just because it's a reminder of how much I paid for it, and sometimes it has the year that I paid for the game. It's kind of cool. Next up we have Chrono Cross. Another game that I haven't had a chance to play yet, but this one this time I have a reason, and it's because I don't want to play it until I play the first game, being Chrono Trigger, and that's a hard game to find, kind of expensive, but I will not play this game until I play the first one. I don't even know if it follows, to be honest, but I'm too stubborn that way. Next off is another game that I used to play as a kid, never owned, Cool Borders 4. This was a fun one. Played a lot of this game. Next up is a game that is like Mario Party, and that's Crash Bash. Played a lot of this game too as a kid. The CD is in the console right now, and my CD doesn't work. It's not working. I don't know if it's the console or if it's the game, but if it is the game, I might have to trade it in. Next up is Critical Depth. Yeah, I know the sticker. Made by the creators of Twisted Metal. This is essentially a Twisted Metal game, but in the ocean, in Critical Depth. Next off we have, oh buddy, heavy hitter, Dino Crisis. I bought this one off of eBay. It's a game that we used to watch my cousins play, I believe, as a kid. And what's fun about this one is that it has Resident Evil 3, the demo disc, and artwork. It's kind of cool. Another heavy hitter for me as a kid, Driver. I'm not sure if this is the original copy I had as a kid, but played a whole lot of this game. This was before Grand Theft Auto was a thing. We played this game. And a game that's a lot more like Grand Theft Auto is Driver 2, where you could get out of cars, steal cars. There was like maybe 3 or 4 different cars that you could steal, but it was pretty awesome. You could find secret cars that weren't like the others. Here's a game that I did not own as a kid, but I have played it as an adult, which is kind of rare. Evil Dead: Hail to the King. And I think I may have broke the game when I was playing it. I got stuck somewhere. It's got 2 discs too, kind of cool. More artwork. I got stuck somewhere, looked in the in a walkthrough online, and did the same thing that the guy was doing, and I couldn't get anywhere. I don't know if I did something unchronologically and it messed up the game, but I'll have to start back from scratch. Here's a game I never owned or played as a kid, and I've always regretted not. A cousin of ours did have it though, and I think he played it a little bit in front of us, and that's Final Fantasy VII. Green label, that's disgusting, and it's missing the manual. That's also disgusting. But what can you do? Next up is Galarians. So this is a survival horror type of game. I got to play it a little bit, and it plays a lot like Resident Evil. Pretty fun game. I have to get back into that one. There's a second one on PS2 that I do not own yet. Here's the most sold PS1 game of all time, Gran Turismo 2. Another game that I don't think we owned as kids, me and my brother, but we played a lot of it through our cousins. Here's a game that we never owned as kids, the main game, but we played a shit ton of the demo disc, and that's Jade Cocoon. We played more of the demo disc than the full game that came with the demo disc. And that's saying something. It reminded us a lot of Pokemon. And I think that's probably why we played a lot of it. Another game that we did own as kids, but the burnt disc, I never known the actual game, and that's Jersey Devil. It's a platformer game. I played it recently. It's a little hard to play, but it's cool. It's cool to have in the collection. This is one of the games that is going up in price because of COVID. I paid $30 for it. Now it's about $80 going for. Another game that I can't believe I actually paid this much for it. Medal of Honor, the very first one. This game we used to own as, yeah, I know the freaking label. This is a game that we used to own as kids, and we played a lot of laugh a frick ton because of the weird dialogue in the game. Medal of Honor, man, that was awesome. Another heavy hitter for us as kids, Medieval. This game is a staple to why me and my brother are huge horror fans in general. This has a large part to do with it. This is one of your most classic Halloween style games, and this is really what got us into horror and Halloween stuff, more so my brother than myself. A game that I never played as a kid, Medieval 2, but I played it a little bit as an adult, and what a freaking hard game to play, man. I couldn't get past the first boss. Medieval games are also going up in price. Double the price of what I paid for them. Metal Gear Solid. One of my most favorite game franchises of all time. Absolutely loved this game. Played it multiple times. Just a blast. And I played its little brother on the PS1, Metal Gear Solid VR Tactics. And also a really fun game to play, although there's not much to do, but what there is to do is fun. Another game that went up in price, and that's Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I paid $5 for this game. Now it's going for like in the 40s, I believe. My most recent PS1 pickup, and this is a game I also owned as a kid. I'm going to say that a lot, I apologize. I already have. And you're gonna laugh. The Mummy. Man, The Mummy. This is a terrible game, but it's got a special place in my heart. It's scary to play because it uses the sounds from the real movie, like the mummy sounds and stuff, the actual beautiful music. It really immerses you in the world of the Mummy, but the gameplay kind of sucks. The way you control the character, and friggin' Brendan Fraser looks ugly in this game, but whatever. It's great. I definitely overpaid for that game, but it's the only time I ever saw that copy outside of the one that we own as a kid, which my brother has currently. Next up is NCAA Madness 99, the only physical basketball game I own. Actually, no, that's not true. I owned an NES game. But we played a lot of this as kids. I would always play a team that had tigers on it, because tigers was my favorite animal growing up, and I don't know anything else about basketball other than that. That one team has tigers on it. This game I bought because of one of my favorite YouTubers mentioned it, and that's Overblood. It's like a sci-fi survival horror game. Have yet to play it yet. It's also a newer game, a newer addition to my PS1 collection, which I don't really buy much for because they're so expensive. Original copy of my childhood, Pitball. Me and my brother played a frick ton of this game. It's kind of like basketball, but like way in the future, with a whole bunch of different races and planets and arenas and whatnot. It's actually a lot of fun. Here's a game that went up in price. The OG Resident Evil. Stupid sticker, but I gotta keep it. Black Label, not the director's cut. This game is going right now, COVID times, $145 at least. I paid $30. Next we have, of course, Resident Evil 2. Black Label. However, I am missing the manual. I replaced it with a Twisted... I put a Twisted Metal 4 label in it, but I'm missing the manual for that one. This, one of the most played Resident Evil games that I own, other than 4, which I own I played a shit ton of 4. Then we have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, of course. Does that come with a CD? No, it doesn't. It doesn't come with an extra CD. I thought it did. The latest Resident Evil game that I bought in my collection. Definitely overpaid that one, but during COVID times it's reasonable. Resident Evil Survivor. This is kind of like a... I believe it's like an on-rail shooter game. It's the... I believe that's all of the Resident Evil on that system. Next up we have Silent Hill, another staple PlayStation game that kind of molded me and my brother into the kinds of people we are today. Very disturbed individuals. This game is by far my favorite horror game of all time. I don't care like what people say. Except for maybe, I guess Resident Evil 4 is high up there too, but from the video I made with my brother. Alright, so, next game. One of the fighting games that me and my brother played a frick ton. Actually, you know what? This is probably my most played fighter game of all time, honestly. I freaking love this game too. It's Soul Blade, also known as Soul Edge. We knew it as Soul Edge, but I guess in America it's Soul Blade. Anyways, yeah, it's an awesome game. My favorite character was the main guy, Mitsurugi, however you want to say. My brother's favorite guy that he played all the time was this guy. I can't remember his name. The most played Spyro game that I owned, my most beloved Spyro game, Year of the Dragon. Let's see here if I can focus in on that. Just having a hard time focusing. My apologies. You got to play a frick ton of different characters, not just Spyro in this game. You got to play as, well, all of these characters. And it added, you know what, a lot of variety to this game, which was very well welcomed and enjoyed, at least for me. And I'm missing Spyro 2, but I have played it and beat it on the PS4. But I have Spyro 1. This one, you die if you touch the water, which kind of sucks. If I remember correctly, Spyro 2 is the same way, but I could be wrong. Spyro 3, you don't die from water. In fact, you have water levels, which, you know what? I have to say, the water levels in Spyro Year of the Dragon, the mechanics for that are still some of the best of all time, period. From games all the way up to now. The water mechanics in Spyro, it feels so real when you're diving in the water and you're swimming. It's unbelievable. I just wanted to say that. I was going to say this is another recent one in my collection, but I bought it in 2017. That's Swag Man. I'd seen it a couple of times, and I was always turned down from buying it because of the name Swag Man. But I mean, like, that cover though, man, that's freaky, eh? And then somebody had talked about it on YouTube. Somebody I followed, I can't remember who, and he was talking about it, saying it was a pretty good game. And I ended up buying it. I'm pretty happy that I had it, although I haven't played it yet. The game that I have played a whole ton of is Siphon Filter 2. I've also played Siphon Filter 1 a shit ton, and 3, although I don't have it in my collection. And wow, man, these discs are pretty bad. But yeah, this was probably the best in the series on the PS1. And the multiplayer mode was pretty awesome too, playing against other people. Next up we have another bad spot for a label, Tenchu 2. Was it Wrath? Birth of the Stealth Assassin. A game that we owned on a burnt disc as well. Never played too much of it. It's a hard game, but a game that I don't own the case or the manual for it. It's kind of sad. That's the very first Twisted Metal. Just kind of like a pre-play disc. Haven't played this one yet. The only Twisted Metal game that I really played a lot of on the PS1 was Twisted Metal 4, because that's the one that we owned as a kid. I was happy to find this one for $3 though. $3.54, and this is by far one of the most expensive Twisted Metal games that you can buy right now, these days. And surprisingly, surprise, the other Twisted Metal game that I own also does not have the case, although you did see the manual from the Resident Evil 2 case. What's fun about this, okay, so this game was severely disliked by most people who were fans of the franchise. Me and my brother, this is the only game we owned. This is the game that we grew up on. And we friggin' loved this game. And this game is what got us into heavy metal. And which is why we still like heavy metal to this day, because of Rob Zombie. And the great thing is about this game, I don't know if the other PS1 games did that as well, if there are other games that did that as well. But this game, you could put it in a CD player, a stereo set or whatever, and you could listen to Rob Zombie as if it was just like a best hit compilation of Rob Zombie. And we did that a lot, and it's kind of fun, you know? It's pretty cool. Next up, we have Vampire Hunter D, another game we owned on a burnt disc. Yeah, we were doing illegal things in my household. No, not really. But this game was fun too. This was like a Victorian style game. I believe it's based off of mangas. I believe my brother owns these mangas, but published by Jaleco, not a publisher that you see or hear of too much these days. It was fun. It was pretty fun. Another fun game was kind of like Twisted Metal, is Vigilante 8, which was created by a group of like 10 people, maybe less than that. A very small team of people made this game, and it's fun. Trying to play it these days though, it's very cloudy. The controls, you try to turn the card, it takes a long time for it to actually do it, which can be annoying, but it was still a lot of fun. My favorite car was I believe it was like a Jeep, a green Jeep that would shoot like nuclear missiles in the sky. Another fighter game we play a lot as kids is X-Men Mutant Academy. And by God, if you played Toad later in the Later in the game, if you played against him, he was impossible to beat. Him and Wolverine, man. Oh, unbelievably hard to beat. But we managed it. We freaking managed it after trying so much. We were more patient as kids than we are as adults, at least for me. And Yu-Gi-Oh! The Forbidden Memories does not play like your usual Yu-Gi-Oh! Game, like the card game I mean, but was a lot of fun to play, actually. You could fuse monsters together, any monsters together. They didn't have to be compatible like in the card games. You could fuse any monsters together, creates a whole new monster, and then you could beat up your enemies that way. And what was great about that game too is that they did use the holograms, the actual holograms of the creatures on the cards, and we loved that as kids. A game that I missed in my in chronological order is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I paid $3 for this. Another game that I used to own as a kid, though, not my copy, not the original copy. Friggin' awesome game. I don't know what else to say about Tony Hawk. Everybody knows about Tony Hawk, except $3 is kind of cheap these days. Now it's $40 game. Now, onto my PSP's collection. Here's a twist though. I don't actually own a PSP. I only buy the games. I do that a lot. I did that with the GameCube, and then my friend Mark got tired of me not owning a GameCube and buying GameCube games, and him and Julian decided to buy a console for me. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm recently doing that with Atari 2600 games. It's a new kind of hobby of mine to start collecting for. And PSP, man, I still don't own the console. I really need to start getting on that so I can play these games. Never owned a PSP ever in my life, so I've never played any of these games, but from what they are, I know they're going to be fun, and yeah, again, I'm looking forward to playing them. Starting off is The Third Birthday. So this is actually, I'm not sure if it's a sequel or a spin-off. I believe it's a sequel of Parasite Eve on the PS1. And it's the only game that's really, that's a Parasite Eve game that I own, unfortunately. I want to get into buying those games, although the first one is like $100 now because of COVID, which is unfortunate. Next off, we had to buy this game because I was such a huge Jak and Daxter fan. Daxter. It's very hard finding the black label of this game. I only ever see the greatest hits label. Brand new sealed. Deadhead Fred. Don't know anything about this game. Looking forward to it. To playing it. Medieval Resurrection. Know a lot about this game. However, I never played the PSP version. It's a remake of the first game. What's great about this one, though, is that it actually comes with artwork on the inside. Metal Gear Metal Gear Acid 1. It's the only Metal Gear game I own on the PSP. I'm looking forward to collecting the other ones. This one also has artwork in the inside. I don't know why the others don't. It's so plain. Brand new sealed, found at a Shoppers Drug Mart. Sid Meier's Pirates. Can't believe I can still find brand new PSP games today. A game that I bought on time before COVID. I bought it not long before COVID, and I'm happy I did. And that is Silent Hill Origins. It's a $40 game now, and I paid $15 for it. That's that. And finally, my last PSP game. Another brand new seal that I found at Shoppers Drug Mart in Nova Scotia. Siphon Filter's Logan Shadow and Killzone Liberation. Kind of like your essential games I have on the PSP. And that's gonna do it. Tune in next time for my next I don't know, collection video. I might do my Nintendo collection next, my PS2, PS3, Atari, I don't know, we'll see. But anyways, cheers.